Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We are excited to have two of our partners here with us today. First, we're going to start off with the Northland Workforce Training Center with Jasmine. She's going to give us a presentation on how the Say Yes Scholarship works. And later on, we're going to have the Parent Network with us. Unfortunately, RIT did have to reschedule, so please keep an eye out for when they will be rescheduling, hopefully for next week. But right now, I'm going to turn it over to Jasmine from Northland. Welcome, Jasmine. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. So hello, everyone. My name is Jasmine Westbrook. I'm an outreach specialist at the Northland Workforce Training Center. So my job is to educate community members and prospective students on the support services and the 4 programs that we offer at the Northland Workforce Training Center. So first, I'll start you off with the video. The video is just a quick overview of the support services and programs that we do offer, and then I'll go through our presentation. So you can start the video for me, please.
Please hang tight, everyone. We'll start the video in just one moment. Thank you.
This is a really, truly competitive advantage for our region, the Northland Workforce Training Center. We have a goal of enrolling and graduating between 300 to 400 students every year in advanced manufacturing energy. We're able to provide customized training programs for incoming companies. We're able to modify our curriculum based on their input, as well as allow them to have influence on not only the curriculum, but the equipment that we purchase and that we train our workers on. So we really believe that the Northland Workforce Training Center is a game changer for our region.
Hey guys, were you able to see that?
No, we weren't.
All right, one second, everyone.
Please bear with us, everyone. Just some technical difficulties. Jasmine, while we're waiting, would you mind sharing some information on how the Say Yes Buffalo Scholarship works? Like, is there a limit to the number of students that are eligible, or is it unlimited? You're muted.
Thank you. I didn't realize that. So for the Say Yes Scholarship, we don't have a cap, so it is unlimited. So the way it works is once you start your enrollment process, you are linked with one of our coordinators of admission. And so they assist you with the admissions process, so enrolling, but also doing the FAFSA and helping you know what grants and scholarships you qualify for. So Say Yes is definitely one that a lot of our students are able to use to help with tuition and fees.
That's great, because that was another question of mine was, do you need to complete the FAFSA to be eligible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Marisol, are we ready for that video yet?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Jasmine.
You're welcome.
This is a really, truly competitive advantage for our region, the Northland Workforce Training Center. We have a goal of enrolling and graduating between 300 to 400 students every year in advanced manufacturing energy. We're able to provide customized training programs for incoming companies. We're able to modify our curriculum based on their input, as well as allow them to have influence on not only the curriculum, but the equipment that we purchase and that we train our workers on. So we really believe that the Northland Workforce Training Center is a game changer for our region.
Okay, so thank you for that. So that video is the best we can do right now, given a virtual tour. So due to COVID-19, we aren't able to give tours of our facility right now. But in that video, you were able to see our different labs. So we have our mechatronics lab, our electrical lab, our welding lab, and our machine tool technology lab, which I'll go more into detail as this presentation goes on. But you can see the different machines you will be working with once you become a student with us. So that video, if you wanted to see other similar ones, you can go on YouTube and type in Northland Workforce Training Center. We actually have our own YouTube channel, so you can see what our labs look like. So the Northland Workforce Training Center. So what are we? So we are a industry-driven public-private partnership between employers, educational institutions, community organizations, and state and local government, focused on closing the skill gap on the local labor pool and creating economic on-ramps for training, co-ops, internships, apprenticeships, and permanent employment for Western New Yorkers seeking high-paying advanced manufacturing and energy careers. So I know that was a mouthful, but every part of our mission statement is important. But the most important that I see that community members really care about is the part about closing the labor pool. So we are a training center, we are a college, but we are also training you for a trade. So our purpose is to help close the labor pool in advanced manufacturing. So all of our programs are in the advanced manufacturing and energy realm. The different community organizations that we are partnered with are a part of the EDG, which is the Economic Development Group. So Buffalo Urban League, Catholic Charities, Goodwill, and the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance. They are the EDG, so they were like the brainchild of what has become the Northland Workforce Training Center. So even before we knew where it would be positioned in the city of Buffalo, those organizations were involved with the idea and the need for having a training facility in Western New York, in the city of Buffalo, specializing in advanced manufacturing. And so as you see on the bottom, you see other logos. So Budsy, they own the building. The Buffalo Billion, we are largely funded through Governor Cuomo's Workforce Initiative under the Buffalo Billion. And also our other funding partners are through New York State with the Empire State Development. And then also the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance. I mentioned them as they're a part of the EDG. They are about 200 employers that are waiting to hire people today. So even right now through COVID, about 90% of the workforce in advanced manufacturing is back running. So this is definitely a field that even post COVID-19, you will be able to find work and you will still be able to make a sustainable income. I don't see the arrow. Okay, I see it. It went away. Can you flip to the next slide for me?
Yeah.
Thank you. So why advanced manufacturing? So advanced manufacturing is, well, let me pause. Manufacturing, that is making things. We will always need things remade. We will always need things remodeled. So advanced manufacturing is using advanced technology to do so. So these are not assembly line jobs where a machine is replacing you. You are learning how to operate the machine in some instances. robots and machines can only do what people program it. So we will always need people in these seats. So these are the type of jobs that we're preparing you for. So right now in the workforce, there's about 3,000 jobs that are needed in the next 10 years. So in 2030, the demand is expected to be about 20,000 or more positions needed in Western New York. And so even though we would love for you to stay in Western New York, even if you were looking to go somewhere else in our nation, there is still a demand for advanced manufacturing. That 20,000 number is just in Western New York in the next 10 years. So this number wasn't just made up. It is because of the number of people at retirement age. So they're looking at, they're looking at people now and looking at them in the next 10 years. About 20,000 positions will be open, but we do not have a lot of people with the skill set to come in and take those positions as we did beforehand. So that is why the Northland Workforce Training Center has been developed as a pipeline for these type of jobs in advanced manufacturing. So as you see, our 4 different programs are listed right here, and we have the different entry-level salaries. So they range between 30 to 48,000 starting off. So mechatronics, 30 to 40,000, machine tool technology, 36 to 48,000, welding technology is 36 to 45,000, and then electrical construction and maintenance electrician is 35 to 45,000. So I like to point out, these are just entry level. So this is a great start, but your income can grow. No one can take away the skill sets that you learn. And as long as you learn how to market yourself the right way, as you will, as you build up on your skill set, you'll be able to make much more as well. But these are the entry level starting after 1 or 2 years of training. Can you go to the next one? So we have 2 different training providers. So this is college, but it's college with a twist. So we are hands-on college where it's about 20% in the classroom and 80% in the lab. And our training providers that are in charge of the curriculum, in charge of hiring the professors are SUNY Erie and Alfred State. So all of the training is done in the city of Buffalo at 683 Northland, but we have the professors, they come to our center and they train students in our 4 different programs. So SUNY Erie is in charge of our Mechatronics Technician Program. Our Mechatronics Technician Program is a 1-year certificate program, which when you think about like a college year is really 8 months. You're in and you're out, and then you're ready to enter the workforce as a mechatronics technician. And so with the certificate program, the curriculum is targeted for a specific career path. So you're only taking the classes you need to become a mechatronics technician. You do not have to take random elective classes. And the same goes for our Alfred State program. So Alfred State is about 2 hours away. So if relocating is not in your plans, now you can stay local and get the same education that someone will 2 hours away at the Wellsville campus. So our Alfred State programs, they're 2 years long. You graduate with the Associates in Occupational Sciences. So it shows that you're actually learning and doing and not just reading about it. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want an electrician doing the floor plan of my house, just reading about it. I would want somebody that was in the lab and actually doing it. So that's what makes the AOS degree different than a regular associate's degree. So again, they're 2 years long or 4 semesters, however you want to view it. And those 3 programs are the electrical construction and maintenance electrician, the machine tool technology, and the welding technician. And just as I said with the SUNY Erie program, you're not taking electives that you won't necessarily need for your career path. So all the math and ELA you're taking is embedded into your curriculum. So anything that you're learning, you're applying it into your lab as well. So the most important thing to remember is that our mechatronics program is 1 year and is offered through SUNY Erie. And the other 3 programs are 2 years long and they're offered through Alfred State. But I like to encourage community members, do not decide on your program based on the time length. think about what you would actually be interested in doing in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now, maybe even 40 years from now, depending on where you are in your work timeline or your career timeline. Yes, a one-year program may seem more feasible, but you want to make sure that it is actually in line with your interests, and just keep that into consideration when thinking about our 4 different programs. Can you go to the next slide, please? So now I'll go through each 4 of our programs individually and try to explain it. A lot of these programs, even for me before I worked here, I had no idea what it was. So please don't feel because you don't know a certain term that you wouldn't fit our program, because a lot of people are starting off that way too. So our Mechatronics program, as I stated before, is through SUNY Erie. It is a 1-year program. And essentially what you're learning how to do is maintain and troubleshoot machines. So it's a multidisciplinary branch of engineering where you learn robotics, you learn electrical, mechanical, hydraulics, pneumatics, robotics, and computer technologies. So if you look at the diagram in the outer circle, you see a lot of different like sub-industries you could work in. So you could work in automotive, you can work in aerospace, medical, defense system, which is in the military. There's a lot of different things you can do as a mechatronic technician. Basically anywhere where you have a machine that will need to be maintained or that may need to be fixed or troubleshooted, a mechatronics technician is needed. And so in the past, they would have someone who just knew one of the various different multidisciplinary branches of engineering, but now you learn a little bit of everything and you figure out which one you like the best that you want to specialize in. And so of our SUNY Erie graduates, from the 33 that we had, not counting this May, but previously, 27 have been placed by Northland Workforce Training Center from our job placement team, which I'll explain a little later in my presentation, and they have full-time employment. And then their average wage is about $17.50 per hour, so approximately $36,000 for a yearly salary. And so the next slide, you'll see images of our mechatronics program. So the middle photo is actually one of our professors with a student. And then you also see the yellow phonic robot. So that robot, if programmed the right way, it can make you a sandwich, but if programmed the wrong way, it could take your arm out of socket. So I say that not to scare you, but to just let you in on how detailed that robot can perform. And those are the type of things that you learn as a mechatronics technician. And then you also see our different motor control systems. That's actually the first image that I forgot to say. And then the last one is one of our PLCs. So that is a programmable logic control. So it's an assembly line, and the students have to determine where the error is in the assembly line. So they figure out if it's a mechanical issue, in electrical, pneumatics, all of those different multidisciplinary terms that I said earlier. You're learning how to figure that out. So if you're the type of person you really like to problem solve, you really enjoy puzzles, things of that sort, this might be a really, really great program for you. And again, it's 1 year long, you graduate a certificate, and then you're ready to enter the workforce. So our next 3 programs, they're all through Alfred State. So the first is the Welding Technology Program. So welding is a fusion of 2 metals to make 1 part. So we have different types of welding that the students learn. We have a TIG weld, a MIG weld, a stick weld. Those are the 3 common ones that people know about. And it was really cool. Our building, we're going on our 3rd year of being open, so we're always still expanding. So I was actually able to see someone do a stick weld outside of our building just for me to become more familiar with it. And I was just like, wow, this could be one of our students in a year from now. And so things like that, with the food truck industry booming in this area, welders are needed for that. anywhere where there's metal, welders are needed. It's a job that everyone won't take. So you are at high demand because it is dangerous. If you are afraid of fire, I wouldn't advise you to go this route. You do learn the different safety precautions. You are always in your safety gear. So I don't want to scare you, but I do want you to be aware, like you are very close to the elements as a welder. It is not a clean job, but it's a great reward. I've also seen different welding where you can be creative. So if you are an artist, you can weld different things also. So we had some students that were able to weld the Buffalo Bills logo after only 3 or 4 weeks of being in our program, not having any prior knowledge of welding. So that's the type of detail that you learn in our program. And so you can go to the next slide. On the next slide, you'll see photos of our lab. So in the middle, you see 2 students working together. And then in the 2, like in a diagonal, you see our MIG and our TIG machine. So it has like the fire torch. And then in the bottom corner, you see one of our professors from Alfred State speaking with students. So the average salary for a welding technician in our area is about $60,000. So if you recall from that first slide, that's about a $20,000 increase career-wise. So, and that's just the median. So our next program is the Machine Tool Technology Program. So this program, essentially you're making something out of nothing. So you have a piece of metal, and you put it into a machine. We learn how to use 2 different types of machines, either a mill or a lathe. And you have a finished product at the end. So if you're a type of person where you get that gratification from having like a physical product, this might be a really great program for you. So with those mills and those lathes, we also learn how to program it through manually or through the CNC machine, which is the automatic. So the image of the student here, that's actually programming it through one of the automatic machines. And so this one is more heavy in math, but I don't say that to scare you. I say it to make you aware. But we do help you with tutoring services if that is something that you were interested in this program, but you know math might be a struggle for you. You can always link with one of our tutors while you're in it, but it is a heavier in math for this one. And so different career titles that you would look for if you were interested in going for the Machine Tools Technology Program would be to be a CNC programmer, a machinist or CNC engineer, a tool and die maker, or a machine setter. And so in the next slide, you'll see images of our lab. This is an actual student. She is on one of our manual machines. So you see it doesn't have that CNC computer on it. But inside of the automatic machines are these manual ones. And then just a fun fact, a standard unit of measurement in machining is called a thou. So it's short for 1/1000th of an inch. So we aren't even able to see that with our eye. So the next program is our Electrical Construction and Maintenance Electrician Program. So you're starting off learning the basics of residential wiring, learning like a light bulb wiring, things of that sort. Then you move on to residential and then move on to industrial. And then we also have green energy where you learn solar and wind. I was like, what? Solar and wind energy. And so like with all of our programs, you do not have to have prior knowledge. We start you off learning the different safety skills and things of that sort, making sure you are safe while you're in our labs. And then it grows from there. So the electrical program, this is a this might be our most popular program. And I believe it's just because it's what people are most used to. Most people know what an electrician is, where as far as mechatronics, you will have to look that up. So it does feel very fast if you are interested in this one. And so our electrical program is ranked #1 by the US for colleges with for all electrical construction and maintenance electrician programs. And then the next slide, you'll see students inside of our labs. And so again, this is our electrical program. So next, you could go to the next slide, please. So these are factors you should consider when deciding if you should attend. So the 2 requirements, you have to be 18 by the end of the enrollment year. So right now we're enrolling for fall of 2020. So as long as you're 18 by the end of 2020, you can enroll, and you have to have a high school diploma or high school equivalency. One is not way more than the other. You just have to have one or the other. Let's say you're watching this and you don't have your high school equivalency. We don't offer that service because there's a lot of different services provided in the community, but you can still contact Northland and we can help refer you to different task programs so you can receive that high school equivalency and then apply with us. And so again, 2 requirements, 18 and have to have that high school equivalency or diploma. The AOS programs through Alfred State are 2 years long, where the SUNY Erie program is 1 year long. Our classes are Monday through Friday, 5 days a week. And it could take up to 6 hours a day. Usually they're about 5, but we would like to tell you more so you could plan around that. We only offer full-time right now at Northland. And our classes are about 20% in the classroom and 80% in the lab. So attendance is taken very, very seriously. Some people who have gone to college before, they might have not been able, might have been able to pass by not attending every class. Alfred State's attendance policy is very strict because you have to be there to learn, especially since our classes are about like 6 hours a day. You miss one day, you have missed a lot. So they are on you when it comes to that attendance. And these are very physical careers as well. So we like to point that out. You could go to the next slide, please. And so this image here, it shows about our financial assistance. So the question is, do students take out loans? So this data is for our students from SUNY Erie, so students that were in our Mechatronics program for the whole year for 2019, so both spring and fall. So 100% of students were able to get their tuition and fees covered. So that is through, after filling out the FAFSA, after seeing what Pell and TAP will give you, scholarships, like I talked about earlier, like the Say Yes one, any grants you may qualify for, so Excelsior, anything like that. And if you don't get all of your tuition and fees covered by that, we also have money available at Northland. So we have our Northland Grant, and then on the next slide, it explains the other resources that we have at Northland too. Oh, sorry, it's the next one, but I'll talk about this and then I'll go into the resources. So this is the training cost. So for the SUNY Erie program, it's about $6,000. Again, that's 1 year if you live in Erie County. If you live outside of Erie County, it does cost a little bit more, about $11,000 a year. And then for our Alfred State programs, it's about $15,000 for the 2 years. But again, this is not money that you will have to take out. We have the coordinators of financial aid to help you get the money from your FAFSA, like I just said, the Pell and TAP, any grant you qualify for, any scholarships. We really try to help you get as many grants and scholarships because we do not want you to take out student loans. Student loans you have to pay back, grants and scholarships you do not. And so on the next slide, it should explain. Yep, okay, perfect. So at Northland, we have a grant, which is specifically for tuition and fees. So that is the Northland Grant. So if after we look at your financial aid package from the FAFSA and you still have money that you need assistance with, we can look at the Northland Grant. And as long as your gross family income is below 80,000, we can assist you with that. And for fall of 2018, we provided over $300,000 in grant funding for our students to assist with tuition and fees. But we understand there are other things other than tuition and fees. So on the next slide, it explains our lending library. So our lending library is a resource for students that are both at SUNY Erie and Alfred State to have assistance with books. We also have our Northland Student Tool Chest, which is a program where students are able to get assistance for tools. And then we also have money set aside for consumables. So we have different materials that we aren't able to reuse from semester to semester because they're worn down. So we have money available for that as well. And we also packaged into that, I know our electrical program is mandatory to have a laptop, so that is into these fees as well. So our career coaches and our financial aid team, they're there to assist you with that, to figure out how to get you all the resources that you need so then you can be a successful student. And so if we go to the next slide. So how do students stay enrolled? So you might have heard me talk about the career coaches a little bit in this presentation. So the career coaches are there to help you remain successful in our program. So they are there to limit any barriers to your success as a student. So some common barriers that are listed here are transportation assistance, housing and medical / dentist assistance, financial empowerment, helping you find linkage to drug and alcohol counseling, but they also are there to help you stay accountable. So as I mentioned earlier about like finding tutoring services, the career coaches are there to assist you with that. They can assist you with anything that would be a barrier that you would say that could get in the way of you becoming successful. They're there to assist you. So right now, during this transition to becoming virtual from mid-March to when we finished in May with our students, our career coaches were very, very impactful in that process for our students. So any students that did not have internet at home, they made sure that they knew about different community resources that they can have so that they can still do their virtual classes. Students that needed laptops, they were able to use laptops and take them home, and just making sure that students had anything that would help them be successful for that transition. So the career coaches definitely are there for the students. We also have student support fairs where we have different community organizations come in, organizations that fit the demographics of what we said earlier about the different wraparound services, but we also had things that the students will come to the career coaches and say, hey, I need help with this. So then they found someone in the community to come in and talk and just really try to help the student in all ways possible, and not just academic, but socially as well. And so the next, what happens after I graduate from the Northland Workforce Training Center. So even before you graduated, you are linked with the placement specialist. So our placement specialists are there to help students gain employment. So I always say it's nice to have this, it's nice to have the paper that's on the wall with your name on it, a nice certificate, but the paper you really want is the green paper. So they help you get that. They help you obtain the different job interviews. They help you with resume building, cover letters if needed, and they also help you gain anything that you need in terms of career readiness and job readiness. So they are the support in the building that will help you gain the job. And hopefully you have different offers, so then you have the choice to pick where you want to work. And so our students really benefit from having a job placement team in our building. They're working with students. I tell students, yes, they're there to help everyone, but you want them to know you on a first name basis. So at orientation, when you're giving your career coach and your job placement team, make sure you go and introduce yourself to them and make sure that they know you. So when a job comes across, they know to let me contact Jasmine, things of that sort. And then up to 3 years after graduation, you're able to use Northland as a resource as well, which I think is amazing. So not only do we want to make sure you're placed into a career, we want to make sure that you're in the career safely, and you're in a career without any issue. So this might be some people's first career job, and we understand that. So we want to make sure you have the support that you need. So research showed that after 3 years or 36 months, that's an adequate amount of time where you probably wouldn't need us as a resource. So that's where that timeline came up. But within the 3 years, if there was like an issue at work and you didn't know how to navigate it, or you were looking to change positions, you can use Northland as a resource. And so I think this one you gotta click a few times. So these are different companies that have hired our graduates. So some names may be familiar to you. A lot of these organizations are a part of the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance. So again, there are about 200 employers who are ready to hire people today. And actually the president of the Buffalo Niagara Manufacturing Alliance, he's actually housed out of Northland. So we have a very, very close relationship with that organization. So Vanessa Hall, she is one graduate. And so I'll just read you what her testimony is. So it says, my name is Vanessa Marie Hall, and I am proud to say that I am a part of the first graduating class from SUNY Erie at Northland Workforce Training Center. Northland provided me with a one-stop shop to walk into a new career, and now here I am less than a year later as a mechatronic technician. I'm currently working for Harmac as a mechanical setup technician, making a great salary, as well as interning at NFTA, which allows me to have a better life than I had before. If anyone has a testimony about how a chance in investing in yourself can be rewarding, it's me. Through the SUNY Erie Mechatronics Program at Northland, I gained knowledge and hands-on training that will catapult me into the workforce that is growing in Western New York. So if you've seen any of our promotions, like on billboards, you'll see Vanessa's face on there. She is a part of our first graduating class from SUNY Erie. And then we have one more testimony on the next slide. So this is John Spradley. He was also a part of the Mechatronics Technician Program. The reason why we only have students from those two programs is that this May was our first year graduating students from our 2-year program. So we'll have more student testimonies from that after we get feedback, but it is only June and they just graduated in May, and with COVID and everything. So we are still getting that data in order and those reflections from students. But John Spradley, so he says, for years, I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to find a program that would train me for a career in advanced manufacturing. I wanted a career that would help me provide a better life for my family, and I found that opportunity at Northland Workforce Training Center. I completed SUNY Erie's Mechatronics Technician Program at Northland, and the program was exactly what I needed to teach me the skill sets that I now utilize every day in my new and exciting career. Northland connected me to over 30 manufacturers that led to numerous job interviews, and subsequently, I find myself with the choice of not 1, but 5 job offers that were made to me in 1 week. My training at Northland Workforce Training Center has given my family and I hope for a brighter future, as now I have an exciting career as a technician at the Niagara Transformer. So I really like that he pointed out having numerous job positions. So I remember overhearing some of my colleagues speaking, and they were saying that a lot of students didn't attend our job fair that we have for students. And so after speaking with students, we were like, so why didn't you attend? so many were already placed, they didn't need to attend the job fair. And that was a couple weeks before they graduated last May. And so that's like a good problem to have, that you have numerous job opportunities even before graduating. And so special kudos to our students, but also to our job placement team for working so well with our students. And so, so if you are interested, so we are currently enrolling for fall of 2020. So that is starting in August. So what you would do, you go to our website, northlandwtc.org, and you click apply now. So it's the apply now that is in the top corner of our website. We have one in the middle, but that was for our summer academy, which is now closed. So click the upright apply now, and you will fill out a form. You will leave a little bit of information so someone from the outreach team can contact you. And what we are doing virtual pre-enrollment sessions. So similar to what I just did now, but it's a one-on-one conversation. So we give you a phone call, we send you this presentation, and we answer any questions that you may have. If you wanted to contact me directly, this is my email address, jwestbrook@northlandwtc.org. And then that is the phone number and then the extension to me. And we're also on social media. We're on Instagram. I go live on Instagram on Thursdays. On Facebook, I go live on Wednesdays. And then we have different clips up on YouTube. And then we have a LinkedIn page and then also a Twitter. So that is Northland.
Jasmine, thank you so much for that presentation. I certainly learned a lot, and this is such a wonderful opportunity, especially for our students that are not looking to take the more traditional route to college. So thank you for that. I do have several questions for you.
Okay.
Okay, so we have, is the Mechatronics a good way to get a job at Tesla?
Yes, they do have some positions that will link you to that, yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't say all positions. It would depend on what position you were looking for. So if someone had like a particular question about that, they can always reach out to me, or they can look at like the job description of what they were looking for at Tesla and compare it to, like, we have our different curriculum papers. We can email them out. They're available online, but we can also email it to someone if they wanted to cross compare it as well.
Thank you. And full-time, is that considered 12 credit hours?
Yes. So they're different for 18 because they're like lab. Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it. So for a full-time student at Northland, you did mention a schedule of being like a full day long schedule. Would they be able to manage work and school at the same time?
So it really depends. If you work a traditional 9 to 5, probably not. We did the program that might fit you the best is a Mechatronics, because they do have an evening group.
Okay, that was my next question in regard to night classes. So there is that. Okay.
So let's say because I'm not sure of the schedule yet. That's more so the admissions team. But after like they're enrolled, but let's say you applied in this semester, the time doesn't work for you, then you can then push your application for the next semester when it opens up, because you might be like on the wait list because those spots for that particular class might be full.
Okay, so what is the max enrollment for a class?
So our cohorts are 20 per cohort.
Great, thank you. And I just want to reiterate, because somebody asked again about the scholarship for Say Yes, you do offer unlimited scholarship opportunities to our eligible students, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. And you did touch on other scholarships because Say Yes would be a tuition based. And then I saw that there were some other fees that can be included. Do your other scholarships that you mentioned cover some of those fees?
Yes, so they have different, most of the scholarships that are financial aid team helps students acquire are the industry-based ones. So they have like merit-based scholarships or industry-based. So the industry-based just shows that it's not based off your grades. So those scholarships are for various different things. So
Great.
yes. And then we also have like that tool chest, and then also the Linden Library for books and the Northland Grant internally.
Wow, great resources. Thank you. So any program around construction, like roofing, for example, do you have any of those tracks yet?
No, what we tend to see is that people that are interested in construction will go into the electrical program because they want to know the different components. So that's usually where students go into.
Okay, thank you. In terms of other fees, application fees or deposit fees, do you have anything?
So the SUNY area application is no fee. The Alfred State application is a $50 fee. There is a fee waiver. It takes about like 2 weeks for it to process, but there is a fee waiver form.
Okay, great. And the credits that they earn from your programs, they can be transferred if a student decides to continue their education at a university or institution.
Yeah, so there's SUNY credit. So as long as you're going, well, actually the Alfred State program, they actually have, if you do the 2 years in person, 2 years online to get a 4-year degree, that is an option. But the same thing with the mechatronic credits. If you were doing something still in that same realm, then you can definitely use those credits. They are SUNY credits.
Great. And a couple more questions. You did mention there is financial aid assistance if someone needs help with the FAFSA application.
Yeah, everyone, we do it with you. So right now we're calling, the first step is me and my team doing information. Next is someone calling you to do the application to either SUNY area or Alfred State. And then next is someone on the phone with you working through what you need to do for the FAFSA. We have a checklist for you. So it's all one-on-one. Someone's working with you through the whole steps. Before COVID, you will come in a group setting, but just for privacy, we don't want to do group setting over
Sure.
the phone.
Right, exactly. Okay, so what is the deadline for this fall? Do you have one?
So I wouldn't necessarily, it's more so it fills up. So like our electrical program is almost filled for both of the cohorts.
Okay.
But we would still tell people interested to still get on the waiting list for spring of 2021. Yeah, I don't know of any deadlines just because we usually fill up, I would say, before we would even speak of that.
Okay. Great. Jasmine, I'd love to hear what you have, what advice you have for high school seniors looking to transition into your program or going off to a 2 or 4 year college in the fall.
My advice is really to think about where would you want to be in the next 5 years. So I know it's hard sometimes to think about the future and where do we want to be, but try to, as much as possible, think of yourself in the future, because you don't want to go to a 4-year college or a 2-year college and in the next few years you're not even using that degree or using that information that you learn. So although I encourage everyone for higher education, whether it's a program like Northland or a traditional college, it's okay if you need to take a semester to think about where you want to be. It's okay not to go straight into it if you are unsure, because you don't want to, just acquire debt and just feel like you have to because society is telling you to. So it's okay to do it at your own time, but still do it.
Jasmine, that is great advice. Thank you so much for being with us today. This is a wonderful opportunity and partnership with Say Yes Buffalo. as always, these are recorded sessions, so this will stay up on our BPS Community Schools Facebook. So if you know someone or you happen to miss this session, you can watch it on our Facebook page. Jasmine, you mentioned you're live on Thursdays.
Yep. So Thursdays on Instagram at 4 p.m. and then Wednesdays at 10 a.m. on Facebook.
Great. Thank you so much for being here. Have a
Thank
great
you for having me.
You're welcome. So up next, we're going to move right into at 5 o'clock. Our parent network will be here, and their presentation is College for Students with Learning Disabilities. Once again, RIT is canceled for today. They will hopefully be with us next week or in the near future. So please stand by, and we will see you at 5 o'clock. Thank you.